Howdy folks, Sapper here, aka Sean, and I'm bringing you World in Flames, Victory in the West. It is now the September-October turn of 1940. And you can kind of see the map status here. So I think the only thing I really needed to do from yesterday was just weather and initiative. The Axis powers maintaining initiative. They didn't have to ask for a reroll. I did roll the weather. The weather turned up to be rain, which does a couple things. It's really going to it's going to slow things down a lot. So let me bring you over to here. So just as a reminder for myself, when the Axis impulse is over with, this will advance 2 hexes, or not 2 hexes, 2 squares, and then go to the Allied. So each impulse is going to move along the track 2 squares instead of the normal 1 square. So we'll get to one of these areas where we have to roll a lot faster. So there's most likely there's going to be fewer impulses. Something that I saw in the rule book that I wasn't doing, after every 2 impulses, you re-roll the weather, which is something that I was not doing and then I caught. But that's the kind of thing that's going to happen when you're playing a game as large as this and you're doing it by yourself. So, if I was playing with somebody else, I'd have somebody else, even if he was inexperienced like myself, at least he could also look at the rules and catch things that I would miss. So I have this die here to remind me that at the end of this impulse, I need to re-roll for weather and see what we get. All right, so back over to the main map, or to where all the action is. So what rain does, it's going to have that little reminder there for myself. So supply is now, it's got to be within 2 hexes. So as long as you're within your home country, supply is generally not going to be an issue because, for example, Germany, they control all their cities. So as long as I can trace supply to a city in my home country, and the units that are in Germany, they're within 2 hexes of a city. So I don't really have to worry about anything there. But now I have to start getting more headquarters when I'm no longer in my home country. If a headquarters is on a rail line, for example, right here, then as long as one of my units can trace within 2 hexes to that headquarters. And you know what? That brings up a good spot. Look at that. That guy's probably going to be out of supply. This one is within 1, 2. So all these are, that one is not. So they are going to be out of supply. So I'll have to look real quick and figure out what that does. I think they're fine, but as soon as they attack, they will flip face down. I think that's all that's going to happen to them, which is kind of, for this intent and purpose, it's not going to be that bad. I'm about ready to mount a large attack on Lily with all 4 of those. And I think my only other attack is probably going to be right there, because I'm trying to surround Metz so that I can get in there. And then Stephen brought up a good point. I thought that I could close off supply to these 3 units here by moving this German unit here, and the zone of control that was exerted would block off supply. But in your home country, which this is still France, as long as you are in a city, you are in supply. So that unit is in the supply, and then these 3 can trace supply because they have interlocking, or they're within each other's zone of control. So unfortunately, these guys will remain in supply. So that was something that I missed. Good catch, Stephen. And again, that's just one of those things that's going to happen when you're playing a game this size with this many rules and you're trying to do things by yourself. Are you going to make mistakes? Are you going to miss rules? Yep. But hopefully things even out, across the board, right? So hopefully I'll make, or not hopefully, but I'll make mistakes for the Axis side, and then I'll make mistakes for the Allies side, and it'll all even out, right? Another thing too, I believe that the rain is going to do, it halves, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the rain Rain has the values, the tactical and the bombardment values for all aircraft too. So aircraft are going to be a little bit less effective. So what we'll do now, hopefully I've done everything right. Let me go ahead. I want to check the supply situation for this guy first before I do the roll for this attack. So after checking the supply rules, a unit that's out of supply cannot attack. So that basically means this stack here can't attack. That's 14 attack factors. So I had calculated it at 12 to 57. So now if I subtract that 14, that'll be 12 to 43. That's not quite 4 to 1 odds. So that's 3 to 1. And then there is minus 1 per factory, so there's 3 factories there, so that's minus 3 to the die roll. And then rain is also minus 2, so that's a total of a minus 5 to the die roll. A 3 to 1 odds is a plus 6, so I'd have a plus 1 net to the die roll modifier. That, and I can only use the assault table. That's bad. There's a 70% chance with the fractional odds that I can bump that up to 4 to 1 odds. So it would be basically a plus 3 modifier. You know what? No guts, no glory. We're going to try this and see what happens. So we will do the fractional odds. So that's a 70% chance, so 7 or lower. And that was a failure. So we are at 3 to 1. 3 to 1 gives us a plus 6 die roll modifier, which is minus 5 because of the rain and the 3 factories. So we basically have a plus 1 DRM, so we need to roll high here. 15. Let's look and see what a 15 is. So 15 is the attacker loses 2 and the defender loses 1. Well, I guess it could have been worse. Let's see here. So well, that's a no-brainer there. We'll get rid of that one. Keep that armor. All right, and then we lose 2, so we're definitely going to lose you. Well, hold up. Let's look. So we have an 8-3. That's leg infantry. Yeah, we'll definitely lose this guy. Probably going to lose that guy. 6-4. Yeah, we'll lose you. And now we have to flip all these guys, which that hurts. That is not the way I envisioned this attack going. Now I can always reorg. I don't remember if I did this or not. I should have moved Guderian to here. I don't know if I had moved him already or not, but Guderian, if I had moved him to here, would have been within 2 hexes. For supply purposes. And that does that. Where was that infantry? That's French infantry. All right, so that takes care of you. Now, had I gotten that fractional odds, that would have given me a 17. It would have been attacker loses 1, defender loses 1. So that would have definitely been, I really needed that fractional odds to happen, and unfortunately it did not. All right, so our other, I believe, is going to be right here. And I calculated it at, I think I'm going to attack this 4 to 18. So that should be, yep. So it's going to be this stack and this stack. Attacking this guy. So that's 4 to 18. It doesn't look like the forest is going to affect anything. Looks like it's just going to be a -2 for the rain. So that is 4 to 1. With a 50% chance of bumping it up to 5 to 1 with a -2 DRM. So let's roll for the fractional odds. So we got a 5, so that bumps it up to 5 to 1. 5 to 1 -2. 5 to 1 is a +10. -2 is going to be a +8. So we'll go ahead and roll. Ugh, can we get any worse? That's a 12. So that was terrible. The Germans, basically, they've kind of stalled by the looks of it. So, what is that? The attacker takes 1 extra loss when their units are either attacking city, mountain, forest, jungle, or swamp. So that we were attacking a forest. So we take 1 loss. Let's go back over here. This is terrible. Well, I guess I'll lose that guy. We'll lose this motorized. Lose that motorized corps. And then these guys are going to get flipped to their used side. Man, am I going to be able to get Paris? Ooh, this is going to be huge, I think. So, note to self, attacking in rain is obviously not a good thing. Of course, it could have been snow or blizzard, I guess, would have been the only thing that would have made it any worse. But let's see, is there any other attacks? I really want to get nets, but I just couldn't. I had this guy here. I'm not gonna use that headquarters to attack. So there would have been, what was that guy? I think he was a 5. So 5, 6. And then these guys here would have been attacking across a fortified hex. There's only 1 there. So it wasn't looking good for Metz. Now, I guess the only bright side for this one is that we were able to get that down to one unit in there, but we can always move this guy in there. What I need to do, I need to get a headquarters over to there. That probably would have made a big difference. But that's it. I'm going to go ahead and end the turn, well, end the impulse for the Axis, and then we'll see what happens for the Allies. So I've just conducted the Allied movement phase, and then of course all the other things that you kind of tend to skip over because you just don't do them every turn. But I've done movement, and I think I'm only going to do 1 attack with the Allies this turn. I mean, there's not really enough good odds ratios anywhere else. So I think I'm going to attack that spot right there. I'm going to do it with these 3. And if I do that, then that'll kind of even make it less desirable to attack Lily. So interesting thing, just a small change in the weather has really kind of swung the pendulum from the Germans to the Allies at the moment. And really, the Allies haven't done a whole lot other than defend. They've just got really good results on their defenses. So it's interesting. Now I'm wondering if taking Paris is going to even be achievable with the time that I have left. But, we'll see. It's kind of swingy. I like that. That's actually an interesting dynamic. So looking right here, these 3, I have 6 to 31, which is basically 5 to 1. The rain is -2, but the face down unit is +2, so that evens out. So 5 to 1 is a +10 DRM. I do have a 10% chance with the is it 10% chance? I don't. Yeah, there's a 10% chance that I can, with the fractional odds, there's a 10% chance that it'll go to 6-1. And no, that does not happen. So we'll roll both dice. And that was what? 5-1 is plus 10, so that is 16. 16 gives me a 1 attacker loss, 1 defender loss. It's orange, so that means the attacker takes 1 extra loss when their units are attacking city, mountain, forest, jungle, or swamp. That is clear. All the land units are attacking across a river. Nope. A clear or desert hex containing any defending headquarters, armor, and or mech. That is a defending mech. So the attackers, the French, are going to take 1 additional loss. That's not good. So that's 2 losses that the French will take. And of course the Germans take 1 loss. So the Germans will lose that mechanized infantry, which is not good. That's a victory point for the Allies. So he's gone, and the French lose 2. That kind of hurt. That definitely hurt the French. I'm probably going to leave. Yep, those guys are definitely staying. Well, it looks like those are the best of the worst right there. What did I say during the last little clip? Note to self, attacking in rain or bad weather is not good. So now I need to decide, actually, that I want to do that. And I didn't want to do that, but I have to fill in that gap right there, because if I don't, then the Germans can use that opportunity to push through, and I don't want to do that. So it's not a good situation, I don't think. Did the French really accomplish anything by eliminating that unit? I don't know. That is, I guess we'll find out. So that is it. Oh, hold up. I have to flip these guys. That's another thing to consider too, right? Like and I've thought about it before, but it's one of those things that you kind of forget about or whatever. But now these guys are face down, so they're going to be at, it'll give the attackers +2. Of course, right here, maybe not so bad because these guys are all face down too, but that makes you, that's an extra column shift basically. So, it's interesting to see the decisions you have to make, and then the thought you need to put into the unintended consequences of your actions, right? So these guys being flipped and me losing, I mean, I had a +10, I believe, on that die roll. Yeah, I had a +10. So, I mean, you think about that, +10 is pretty dang good. But the unintended consequences of my action were, hey, I lost 2 units as the attacker, and these guys are all face down now. So, very interesting decisions that have to be made, which I'm kind of digging. I'm really liking the World in Flames system. I mean, yeah, I do have some gripes. There's a couple, little complaints that everybody's always going to have. I've got my small issues with it. But overall, so far, I'm really liking the system. So I have to decide whether I want to use them to reorg, to use that headquarters to reorg. I can only do 2 units because the reorganization value of that headquarters is 2, so I can only flip 2 units. Which 2 units would I flip? Definitely 1 in Lily. But then would I want to flip both of them there, or flip 1 here and 1 here? That's tough. So we'll see what happens. All right, folks, we are now on the German Impulse, September, October, the second German Impulse, September, October 1940. So I rolled for weather because you do it at every other impulse. So weather is now fair, so that's definitely good. That rain really hurt both sides. And then, of course, I looked at the weather chart, and there was things that I forgot to do. So here we go right there. So supplies down to 2 hexes, which I forgot, or which I caught that, but terrain entry costs are ×2, which I didn't do. But that was both sides I didn't do that with. So that equals out. So things can't move as far or easily in rainy weather, and the attacks are at -1 odds. Of course, that I was even on both sides. I didn't realize it. So again, that's just like I said earlier. It's one of those things that when you play a game like this by yourself, you're gonna forget stuff. So it equaled out because both sides benefited from me not applying the movement penalties and me not applying the attack odds penalties. So again, it's fair weather this time. And the Germans had just repositioned some stuff along the line. I didn't move Guderian this time because this guy, he is within 4 now of a headquarters. Or these guys are within 4 of a headquarters. Although I'm not attacking with them, so it really doesn't matter. But these guys are no longer out of supply. I think that might have been the only case. But I'm going to attack this unit here, and I'm going to attack this stack of units here. So this unit I'm going to attack with the 2 units here. And then I'm going to attack with that infantry unit there. I'm not going to use that headquarters. I want to keep that headquarters in reserve so that we can reorg if we need to. So it boils down to 5 to 21, which is 4 to 1 odds with a remainder of 1. 1 divided by 5 is 20%. So there's a 20% chance that that 4 to 1 will get kicked up to 5 to 1. So nope, that's not going to happen. So 4 to 1 odds gives me a +8. I believe I can use Blitz if I want. I can use Blitz because I have armor. This guy is not armor. So I think I will use the Blitz chart. So I get, so 4 to 1 gives me +8. The fact that he's face down gives me another +2, so that gives me a +10. And then if I'm using the Blitz column, I get +1 per armor. So that gives me +11 to the die roll. And that is an 11. Plus 11 is 22, which is almost the max value on the table. It only goes up to 23. So if we're using that, we get, so all of the attacking units remain face up. This is what I was wanting. The defender loses 1 unit. So that guy goes back to the force pool. And now I do a breakthrough so I can advance my armor or mech a second hex if the move cost is 1. So it's fair weather. Oh, dang it. Look at that. That's what happens when that happens. And you were there. So luckily that was only a minor screw up. So let's see. We will advance there, and then I can advance 1 more if it's armor. That's armor, so I'm going to advance to there. He will stay there. He will advance. Do I want to move von Rundstedt? I think these guys are not in a position to attack. So I will move Von Rundstedt. Or that's not Von Rundstedt, that's just Rundstedt. Okay. We've got Von Bach and Von Lieb. Those are the ones that I was thinking of, the Vons there. All right, so that takes care of that. Okay, it was green. None of those guys flip, which is good. That's what I wanted. So this guy he's vulnerable. This stack is really vulnerable. So now we'll go down to here. I'm going to use these 3 stacks. 7 to 39. So that's going to be 5 to 1. The remainder gives me a 50% chance of moving that up to 6 to 1. They're in a forest, so I can't use blitz. So that's pretty much it, right? It's going to be 5 to 1. Let's do the 50% chance. And nope, no 50% chance. So it's a straight up 5 to 1. 5 to 1 gives me plus 10. And that will be a 24. That's the max result on the table. I cannot use the blitz table because I'm attacking into a forest. So if we look here, no attacker losses. They'll all remain face up. 2 defender losses and a shatter result. All right, so both of these guys are gone. And there weren't anything special, but they were, I mean, they were defenders. They weren't big units. They weren't high value units. I mean, every unit obviously is valuable. All right, and I got the shatter. So the shatter is... place remaining defending land units on the production circle to arrive as reinforcements. There are no remaining units because there was a 2 result there, so 2 of them are destroyed. And then I may advance 1 after combat, and I believe I can also... Nope, I can just advance after combat. So who do I want to advance? There are 7... Probably these 2 7s, right? So we'll do that. And they all remain face up. So again, good job, guys. I think that's it. Those are the only... I still don't have enough. This stupid Maginot line is the biggest pain in the butt. I understand why the Germans went around, but it's still because I want Metz, but I need to get a lot of guys over here, but I also need to focus on Paris. I think Paris is the bigger prize here, is more important than Metz. So I'm going to do a little bit of reorg. And I don't think I want to use, I got a lot of stuff here. I don't think I want to use, got that guy, he's an 8. I kind of want him. I need these guys in the fight, man. I need them in the fight. So what I think I'm going to do, he has a reorg value of 4 with a range of possibly 4. I think I'm going to use Guderian. Because I still got Rundstedt that I can use later on. I'm going to use Guderian to reorg so that I can get Lily. Because I've got it surrounded on 5 sides right now, so... Of course, that's given that the French don't try... I mean, the French can't attack here. They can't attack here. Their only options are these guys here and these guys here. So I think the odds of him being attacked are pretty slim. There's only two Allied bombers. 1, 2. There's only 2 Allied bombers that could possibly do anything. So I think I will use Guderian to reorg that guy. Guderian was a 4, so I can reorg 3 more guys. Nobody there. You are good. Look at that. The Deutsche Afrika Corps kicking ass in France. I've got one more potential flip. I don't know. There's nobody I need to flip. Because everybody, I rolled green results, which means everybody stays unflipped. So that is it. All right, that's it for the Germans. I don't see a lot going on the Allied side, but we'll see what happens. All right, so I've just conducted the Allies impulse. The only thing I did was just move this guy closer to Paris. He's got that river in the way, so that'll give half odds to the attackers, or half attack values. There's really not a lot of choices. The only thing I might consider would be to flip him to reorg, but he can't reorg the things that need to be reorged, and I don't think it makes. That's a 4-5 infantry. Yeah. I don't think I can do that. So that'll be it for the Allies impulse. Now we need to go, and it is now the 7th impulse. It'll go to the Axis. Let me roll for weather. So weather is a 1 in September, October, which means fair. So that definitely favors the Axis powers. So we'll check for weather again there. And then this is probably, well, I'm not going to say probably, but it has a potential to be a really good turn for the Axis, because I see that probably going down. And then once Lily goes down, then I can definitely really focus on Paris. Although, yeah, because these guys here would be the ones that I would hit Paris with, but I want to get that first. But I still have movement to do yet. So it's the beginning of the Axis turn. I'll conduct some movement, and maybe I'll get some stuff. Can definitely get around to there where that river's not in the way. Got these guys here. So yeah, I'll be back when Axis are done moving. All right, it is now the Germans, or Axis impulse number 7. Again, repositioning some units. I'm starting to try to get around to the back of Paris there. Hopefully we can get Lily, and then try to take this guy out, so that we will again be knocking on the front door of Paris. Let's see, up here I am looking at 4-to-1 odds, 10% chance to get it to 5-to-1 with a +9 DRM. So let's do it. Go ahead and do the 10% for the fractional. No, that was a 4. So no fractional. So we are looking at, we can't do the blitz because there's a city in that. It's a clear hex, but there's a city in there. So I can't do blitz. So it's got to be straight up assault. So +9. Let's go ahead and move that up there that way. Hopefully I don't hit anything. That is 23, maximum result. So it looks like 2 defender losses and a shatter. So there's no shatter that's going to take place, because shatter only affects remaining units. There are no remaining units. All right, and let's see, nobody flips. So who do we want to advance in there? It's an important question. Probably these big boys right here. Yeah, I think I'll just move. So we have taken Lily, France. Now the next combat is going to be right here. That is also 4-to-1 odds. I can't do blitz because none of these guys are mechanized or armored. They're all leg infantry or motorized infantry. So that's 4-1. So there's a +8 to the die roll. It was 10-40. So there's going to be no remainder for fractional odds. So basically it's going to be a +8. And that's a 20. So a 20 is going to give me 1 defender or 1 attacker loss, 2 defender losses plus a shatter, and then half the remaining attacking units remain face up. So that was a good result. Not ideal, not the best, but it's still pretty dang good. All right, so 2 losses. There's nothing to shatter. Basically, what shatter would do is that anybody, after losses are taken, anybody that's left over gets put back onto the production track. So I think that takes place. That's more of a thing with like maybe if I had an aircraft in there, and or divisions in flames, because you have a stacking limit in basic World in Flames of 2 core units. But if you add divisions in flames, then you can put a division in there too. So you can have 3 units in there. All right, and those guys are gone. So that's that, and then I can advance after combat. Who are my heavy hitters? We got an 8, 7. All right, so we'll do this. We will do that, and now we are once again at the front door of Paris. We've been here before, but they pushed us back. However, there's not a lot left for them to push back with. Oh, half the remaining units. So how many did we have? We had... Oh, I take a loss too. That one right there will be the loss. And then, so that's 5 units remaining. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. 0.5 rounds up to 3, so 3 units will be turned face down. One, 2, and 3. I always have the option to use reorganization to flip those 3 back with a headquarters, and I also have I can reorg one thing with air transport as well, so I can use that to flip one guy over if I want. You know, I haven't used these airborne guys. They've just been kind of sitting on the airfield, just, you know, cooking their sea rations or whatever. I don't know what the Germans call them, but I know the Americans call them sea rats. So anyway, that is it for the Axis turn. Let's see if... I'm not going to reorg this time. I might do that next time. Yeah, I think I will wait. What is this guy? That's a 7. I think I will wait to do the reorg just because I kind of want to get this impulse done. So let me roll on the... So if I roll a 1, then the turn's over. All right. And that would be a 9, so it now goes to the Allies. So we will move down on the track 1. That doesn't go there. That goes... At the end of this turn, we will roll... Well, actually, there is where we roll, because weather is at the beginning of your turn. So let's see, what do the Allies... This should be pretty quick. The Allies really don't have a lot of choices. I honestly don't think that there's anything... That's a good defensible position. Well, you can only move... You can't even do that. think the Allies are going to pass, honestly. There's not much you can do. All right, so if we roll a 2, then the impulse is over with, or the turn is over with. Rolled an 8, so it is the Allies' turn. Let's roll on the weather chart real quick. And then I think I will end this section of video so I can at least get loaded up. So 6 in the northern temperate zone is fair. And I advance the impulse marker 2 spaces each time. So at least the weather is good, but I'm still advancing the marker pretty quick. So the weather is fair. All right, so weather is fair, but we advance it 2, so it would go here to the Allies, and then it would go here to the next Axis phase. So that we would roll for weather there. Chances are it's not going to make it that far, but you never know. Anyway, that is it through the end of the 8th impulse. So I'm going to end this video here so I can get it thrown up on the interwebs for everybody to watch and enjoy all the mistakes that I made. And then we will be back with some more whiff goodness. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for all the rules clarifications and all that. Keep that stuff coming, and I will keep the videos coming, because what else are you going to do when you are being told to stay home?